Good morning and welcome back to our podcast A&M. As always, we are Maria Fernanda Rodriguez and Ana Galindo, and today we're going to talk about a serious problem in our metropolitan area, the displacement of population.
I'm not interested in my name appearing because it will be just another figure. The important thing is that the community knows that we exist, that we have had to survive in the cities, and that in Colombia the displaced already number more than 4 million. The laws exist. They seem nice, but the reality is different. These are the words of a displaced man who arrived 6 years ago in the northern neighborhood of Bucaramanga after illegal armed groups threatened his life.
And what is displacement?
Displacement is being forced or required to leave one's home or place of usual abode to prevent the negative effects of armed conflict, conditions of widespread violence, human rights abuse, and natural or man-made calamities. It might happen within a country or outside of it. This is a question that we get asked so much. What are some consequences of forced displacement for receiving population?
Agglomeration and economic structure. That is basically the agglomeration between people looking for job. And since there are more people, there are also more people without job, which can also trigger things such as lack of money for many people, among others. The role of refugee police in host countries. In many places, the police or security media can become intolerant for these people, to the point of denying them many basic rights, and this becomes very unfair and problematic for these people. Other problem is norms and trust. Since many new people had arrived, they are not used to the laws and regulations, and this can become a problem not only for the immigrants but also for the people who already live here. And for many people, it's difficult to share with these people, but it's a problem of morality and distrust. And around how many people are displaced right now?
Of the overall number of persons in this condition in the area, 54% said paramilitary groups, 40% insurgents, and 6% the army were responsible for the displacement. The primary causes are death threats, followed by eviction for avoiding recruitment, for being accused or sharing information with one of these armed players, or for refusing to cooperate with them. Despite the alarming amount of displaced persons that Santander receives, social action data shows that the department also expels individuals. Over the past 10 years, at least 55,071 people have filed as a result of these skirts, and the majority of these immigrations are the results of violent conflicts. Can you tell us some of the reasons for the displacement?
Sure, the dispute over control of the land, the search of better living conditions, the armed conflicts in the localities, and the persecution for ideological or political reasons has been factors in the internal displacement of the population, are most of the main reasons of this. And Mafe, what is your opinion about this topic?
I think that this is one of the most sensible topics for our metropolitan area because this affects many people, not only the displaced people, also the inhabitants of the country, and how previously said, it is more of intolerance of many people, and that make the problem get worse. And what do you think, Anna, about this part of the displaced situation?
In my opinion, this is a very big problem for our society because it also disencadenates many other problems like unemployment that affects everybody in the country, and the history of many people is affected, and this is inhuman and traumatic. Honestly, some stories of life of displacement people have broke my heart.
Can you tell us some of the testimonies of displaced people, please?
There are so many life testimonies of displaced people, but the one that touched my heart was Jenny Jeves Ramirez. 18 years old, is one of the youngest person in a displacement situation. She is conscious that her situation is difficult, but she follows her dreams and she makes part of young leaders that help and make a change for society.
Wow, she's very brave for doing all that after leaving her home.
I agree with you. It's very difficult to do that after all these environmental problems are happening.
Yes, I also agree that it's very complex to their mental health to continue well. Maybe there could be some affectations on the feelings and the way they think. Also, they could experience depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorders, common said like PTSD. Some reviews show that 30% of the displaced people suffer from depression or PTSD.
We made some interviews and someone said that she thinks that forced displacement is very terrible and inhuman because someone of the same country is forcing to leave the place another person of that country and leave them homeless.
Continuing my idea, these are some of the statistics of systematic reviews. Show that prevalence estimates of mental health disorders vary widely from 4% to 80%, including 4% to 40% for anxiety, 5% to 44% for depression, 9% to 34% for PTSD. After the process of displacement passes, in some cases the symptoms still appears many years, and there is no determinate time that says when it's going to disappear. These are some of the affectations in the population. The first, diminished volume of the hippocampus and anterior cingulate cortex, which may explain conditions like depression and substance abuse. Second, changes in the brain and pre-existing vulnerability and neurotoxicity as origins of brain volume reduction in PTSD. Third, amygdala and dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and hyperreactive, whereas the ventral medial prefrontal cortex is hyporeactive in PTSD, and this may explain attentional bias towards the truth, impaired emotional regulation. This is important to take into account.
To continue and end this podcast, displacement is a very serious topic for our society. So when you see immigrants or displaced people, do not be mean to them and put yourself in their position, in their shoes. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We hope you enjoy it and we hope we teach you something. Goodbye.